Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sienna here with a brand new video again, and this time we are talking about fear. More specifically, 6 common fears that new mediums tend to have. But don't worry, because we're also going to be talking about what you can do about it, so stick around. I made a community post not that long ago asking you guys who were interested in developing as mediums but had some fears about it, what were you so afraid of? And I figured today we would go over the top 6 that I got, and the top 6 that I get asked about actually all the time by clients and by friends and stuff like that. So we're just gonna jump into it. These are not in any particular order because I think each of the items on this list are equally valid. So we're gonna start with fear number 1, and that is being constantly bombarded by spirits or ghosts. I've had a lot of people ask me how I deal with being constantly surrounded by people in spirit trying to communicate constantly. And actually, I don't really deal with that as much as you would think. Some of it is because of the clear energetic boundaries that I have chosen to put up around myself. Set some clear boundaries with the spirit realm. You can say these following things either in your mind if you're not able to say them out loud. I recommend saying them out loud. It just gives it that extra oomph. It makes your intention a little bit stronger. So to set boundaries with the spirit realm, I say things like, do not come to me, I will come to you. Or you say, you do not come in uninvited. You can also ask your spirit guides or guardian angels or deities. So some people like to call on, like for example, Archangel Michael, or some people call on Jesus or other deities like that to protect them and to act as the gatekeepers of communication. Please help me decide if I should let this person in or not. Or if this person is, of love and light, let them in. If they're not, don't let them in. Okay, so it's okay to ask the spirit realm for help with this. They will help you. Something else that I find really helpful is to always cleanse your workspace and yourself before and after every session or every time that you practice. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can use, I have a selenite wand that I wave around my workspace. I also use Reiki to cleanse my workspace. You can use other crystals. You can use candles or sage or just the power of prayer. You can use that as well. And when you're finished doing a medium reading or you're finished practicing, set the intention of closing off communication. And okay, yes, I do lots of weird hand gestures when I speak, and this is not just me being quirky. This is an actual thing I was taught during my Reiki training. This like X/karate chop type movement. It just symbolizes no more communication, all done. You can also picture yourself shutting off a light or hanging up the phone. Just sets the intention that communication time is over and I need my brain to myself. The second fear on our list is the fear of getting tricked by an evil entity pretending to be a loved one. I was warned about this a lot when I started practicing as a medium. Actually, I think my Reiki instructor had even warned me about this because she was psychic and she was able to see that in the future I was going to be channeling lots and lots of different people and beings. And she had actually warned me about this, and so of course I was kind of scared about it. But here's what we do, okay? Refer to fear number 1. Ask your guides or a deity or God or Jesus or whoever it is that resonates with you to protect you and act as the gatekeeper. Your guides love you and they will not allow anyone harmful to come in without your consent. Also, you got to use your intuition. If you sense danger during a medium reading or you feel like something is off, whether it's a little bit off or really, really off, just end the session and cleanse yourself and your space. Your intuition will strengthen over time, so don't worry about missing these alarm bells. Keep in mind that you know your loved ones. If the spirit who came in just doesn't feel like or sound like the person you knew, and if it makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to end the session and try again later. It's not really offensive to them over in the spirit realm. And if you're not comfortable doing something, you don't have to do it. I also really want to point out, you are not likely to be messed with by a negative, or some people call them prankster type spirits. If you've set your protective boundaries and you've asserted yourself to the spirit realm like we talked about earlier, it's not fun for them. If they can't get in, if they're not able to get past your boundaries and pester you, they're gonna have to move on elsewhere. Now, of course, this is not like a one-size-fits-all statement. This just comes from my understanding and experience as a medium. This is just what I've dealt with in the past. Fear number 3, and we're gonna put a little trigger warning here just in case some people are a little bit upset by what we're about to talk about. Fear number 3 is running into a past abuser who has since died and crossed over. I've actually had lots of people say that they are afraid to get into mediumship because they're worried that somebody who bullied them or otherwise hurt them in the past will come back and try doing it again and will try haunting them. I understand the origin of this fear. I totally get it. Now, I don't know how this is gonna sound, so I'm just gonna say it, okay? Remember that that person is dead. The abuser is dead, and they cannot hurt you or anyone else anymore. They don't have that power. And just like we talked about earlier, every time that you do medium reading or any kind of practice with it, cleanse your space, ask spirit for protection. Your guides are not gonna let you be hurt. This doesn't apply to everybody, but for some people who use magic or other kinds of witchcraft, you can even perform a banishing or binding spell to help keep them away from you. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about banishing and binding spells right now. There are lots of recipes. Is it recipes or just instructions when it's spell work? I don't know, but lots of instructions online available on YouTube, Pinterest, places like that, okay? Something else to think about is that the person that hurt you might not even be allowed to contact you once they cross over. Spirit knows everything and sees everything. Spirit knows that person's intentions, knows what they were and knows what they are. If their intent is still to hurt you, it doesn't serve them, it doesn't serve you. So why would they allow them to do that? A lot of times they've got their own work to do once they cross over. They got their life review, they got healing stuff to do, they've got all kinds of stuff to work through, and they might just be focused on that instead. So that's something important to keep in mind. The most important thing I think to keep in mind, if you are afraid of encountering somebody abusive or, just really, really miserable on the other side, is that you have all the power. Remember I said they don't have that power anymore. They can't hurt you. If they come in or you just even barely sense that they might be there, tell them to go away. Use no uncertain terms. They are not welcome. End the session if you feel that you need to end the session. Add them to what I call the spiritual block list. I tell my guides, okay, this person, if they try to come in, do not let them in. I don't want to talk to them. Your guides will respect your wishes. Okay? Outside of mediumship, work on your healing. As you heal and work through trauma, the stronger and more confident you can become. And this can help you to set strong boundaries and assert yourself, like we were talking about, assert yourself to both the physical and the spiritual world. So it's really, really important to keep in mind. It is such a huge fear that a lot of people have, running into somebody who has hurt them and being afraid that they're going to haunt you or hurt you again. Don't be afraid of this. You have the power, they don't. The next fear on our list, number 4, is it just my imagination? So, A lot of people, and myself included, especially when I was just starting out, oh my gosh. I'd get messages come in and then second guess. You know, I'd be like, did I make that up? Or did they actually tell me that? Like, when I was getting used to being clairaudient, for example, and getting words coming in, I would think, am I just saying random words? Am I just thinking a bunch of random stuff? So I get it. Lots of people are worried that they're making it all up. What you can do, when you're first starting out, you can once in a while ask Spirit for a sign or a confirmation that they had actually spoken with you. Sometimes you will get one. You can't rely on this all the time though, because you do have to work on your own intuition and learn how to trust it. And after a while, you won't even need a sign anymore. You'll just know, you'll know. Sometimes you will just feel something really strongly, or just know that you know that you know that something is true, or that something has come in from the outside. Trust that feeling. Clairaudient messages. Okay, going back to the whole clairaudience thing. They sometimes come in faster than your brain can string together all of the words. Like for me, for example, messages can come in as complete sentences or fragments of sentences. Not just one word at a time, the way my brain usually strings together thoughts and ideas. If the message persists, that you get that same word coming in over and over and over, and your feelings become stronger, or like this really strong gut feeling you have just keeps persisting, it's probably not your imagination. Something else that sometimes happens, seeing synchronicities when the message comes in, also means it's probably not your imagination. So for example, during a medium reading, you might look at the clock and see that it's 11:11. Or shortly after the reading, you turn on the TV and somebody says like the name of somebody who came in, or says something that just really has to do with what you were talking about just a bit ago. In the meantime, work on building your self-confidence. Work on strengthening that solar plexus chakra, the center for your personal power. This can help you to not second guess yourself so much. Now this kind of leads into the next fear on our list. Number 5 is the fear of getting things wrong. A lot of people, again, and myself included when I started out, I was kind of hesitant to read for people other than friends and family and myself, because I was worried about getting things wrong and disappointing the client, or garnering a bad reputation for myself or something like this. Remember that mistakes happen. It doesn't matter if you're a medium or a hairdresser or a teacher or whatever. It doesn't matter what job you are. Everybody messes up once in a while. Mistakes often happen when a medium tries to interpret a message without fully understanding what it means. They put their own spin on something that comes in because that's what makes sense to them as opposed to the message itself. It's okay to tell your client if you don't know what something means or why it came in. Just be honest. Sometimes they'll know what you're talking about if you just deliver the message anyways without your interpretation. And a lot of times, some things don't resonate or make sense in that moment during the reading, but in the future, a couple days later, a couple weeks later, it will make sense. That happens once in a while. That actually happened while I was getting a psychic reading done a few years ago. The lady told me that I was going to be doing lots of work with energy healing and teaching and stuff. And at the time, I was so confused. It didn't resonate at all because I was gung-ho about my other career that I had. And, that was what, 2019? Okay, about like a couple years later, now look what I'm doing. It made sense to me later on. Practice on friends and family that you trust as you get more experience and get more comfortable and become more confident as a psychic medium. Avoid practicing on somebody who is skeptical or will just outright challenge everything you say in the reading. And it's not to say that you only need to hear what you want to hear, of course. It's just that sometimes, even if you get something correct in the reading, a skeptical person might still deny it anyways. And that doesn't really help much, does it? Anyways, point is, you don't have to prove yourself to someone who is only playing games with you. If you find that you're fitting the reading to match some preconceived narrative, whether that's your own or the client's, and you feel like you're starting to just tell them what they might want to hear, that sounds like the ego mind getting in the way. And what you do then is you take a deep breath and remember to just relay the message. Do it kindly, but do it. Sometimes a message is uncomfortable and it's really hard to give. Be honest about how it makes you feel, but relay the message in a way that does not change its meaning. You still have to be truthful. The last one on our list, number 6, is the fear of being judged or rejected or ridiculed. This is not a concern for everybody, but it is especially for those who either are in an area that's very religious, or you're surrounded by skeptical people or really religious people. And my advice for you is, well, okay, number 1, you don't have to tell anyone anything that you're not comfortable sharing. Whether that's you're a medium or whatever. Anything else in life. If you're not comfortable telling anyone and you don't think it's really, necessary to tell them, then you don't have to. As long as you're not hurting anybody or scamming anybody, it really shouldn't matter that you're a psychic medium. I think it's actually quite natural to be a medium and to communicate with the spirit realm. But some people are a little bit afraid of that, of course. I mean, why else would I be doing this video, right? Something else to keep in mind is to just evaluate your relationships. If mediumship and spirituality and stuff is a touchy subject, maybe with some people, just don't bring it up if you can help it. There are people in my life that we have to just agree to disagree, and I still love them and they still love me, but we just don't talk about my work. However, if somebody is continually antagonizing you about it and like telling you things like over and over, like you're gonna go to hell, or you're sinning, you're evil, you're this, you're that, and they keep doing it, maybe consider letting them go, or at least keeping that relationship at arm's reach. The other point of advice that I have regarding the fear of being judged and stuff is just own it. Don't give a crap. You're not hurting anybody. You're actually helping people who come to you and want to connect with their loved ones on the other side. There's nothing wrong with doing that. We all have spiritual gifts and abilities. Some of us are tapped into them. Some of us are not yet. And like I said, it's very, very natural. If it was unnatural and sinful and evil, why would we be given these wonderful gifts? Think about it. Just own it. Work on that confidence. Work on that solar plexus chakra. Work on your healing. After a while, it's not going to bug you what other people think. Really. And in most cases, some people who find out that you're a medium might actually think it's really, really cool. You'll be surprised at how many people are open-minded and supportive of this kind of work. So was this helpful to you guys? I really hope it was. Those were the top 6 fears of new mediums. Thank you everybody for giving me your comments and your suggestions. Thank you for asking me these kinds of questions. I love to address them and help people the best I can. So let me know in the comments your experiences with mediumship and fear. What are some of your concerns? Did I miss something? Is there something on this or not on this list that is on your mind? Let me and others know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe to SEANNA Rose Metaphysical. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.